So you're ready for this?
Yes.
Are you sure? Because today's the last day. Today's my third day. Today I won't be back next week. So you're funny. So you know I got to cause some trouble today, right? So we've had 3 weeks of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
What was first week? Last week. All the world's a stage, and we have first week. To be or not to be enlightened? That is the question.
Yes.
Then last week, all the world is a stage. What is the story that we are telling? Okay. And today, as Ken said, today we are talking about to thine own self be true. Anybody in here know what line follows after that a little bit? And it must follow as night the day that you cannot then be false to any man. Okay, so let's pause for a moment. Bring to your mind some problem in the world. Just whatever it is. Whatever it is. Just bring something to mind. It could be a global thing like global warming. It could be toxins in water. It could be racism, sexism, homomisia. It's not like you don't have a plethora of things to choose from. Bring it to your mind. Just bring it to your mind. Because the reason that thing exists, I would venture to say, is because humans were not true to themselves. Breathe that in. Typically, when we talk about this idea of being true to yourself, it's like, honor who you are, honor what you are, honor where you are. For example, for those of you who didn't hear the last couple of weeks, my son made his transition on June 3rd, the day after his birthday, and so there's this idea of what does it mean for me to be true to myself during the process of grief, right? That's a very individual me. How do I, Ray, address this thing called grief? And when is my yes a yes and my no a no in this process? Because somebody may say, Ray, can you do such and such, such and such on such and such day? And I feel I should, but no, because I have to honor, right? So there's honor thyself. Be true to thyself in this moment. But, there's always a but. But, what about the capital S self? Or the capital S-E-L-F? What does it mean for us to be true to that self? And if we're true to that self, and it's both and, if we are true to that self, what does it mean for us to be true to the divine as us? Because if we recognize who and what we are as the divine, as God expressing, as I mentioned last week or the week before when Eric Butterworth said, Ray paraphrased, when Eric Butterworth said, God neither created nor is creating anything because God is creation itself, and so are you. Making it very personal. That which it is, we are. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that which is the Atman. I am the Absolute, personified as me now.
Well, check this out.
What was the word for the daily word today? What was the word? Guidance. Keep that in mind. And for the principal word was spiritual growth. And Renee talked about this idea of a journey, our spiritual journey. When we know that we are the divine, not just we are divine, but we are it, incarnating itself as us. Because if we are a, then that implies there's another and. Well, that's not oneness then. That's multiplicity and duality. We are all one. Everybody in here. Even though we are variations of. There's only one humanity. Remember I said that before. And each of us is a representation of that humanity. We are the human race. And the human race includes every human that was, every human that is, and every human that there ever will be. is the human race. So there can be a one, or oneness, and all of the numbers included within it. So we can be the divine, just as any of us can be a human being who acts in a humane manner among all of humanity, etc. So then our journey is a recognition that everything we do is spiritual. All of it. Whether it's taking a French class, parlez-vous français? Whether it's learning how to Irish dance, like whatever it is, all of it, yeah, like it did. All it didn't have the clickety-click sound though, so it was a little carpety. But anyhow, I digress. The point being, whatever it is we are doing is spiritual practice when we recognize the self that is doing. Because it puts us in a whole different mind space. Renee mentioned, because we share the trauma of that past. How many times did Ray get kicked out of Bible study and stuff for asking questions about Lilith and Job and, okay, how big was the fish that swallowed? I don't get it. I'm confused. So I understand. But we were raised to believe we were wretched, we were sinners, and he had to die a horrendous death just for his dad to say, okay, fine, go ahead. Open the gates. And even though he died to cleanse us of the sin, we're still bad people. Like, wait. So when we're operating from that space, in the, but I am bad, for dost thou not know? Oh, you slipped into Shakespeare again. But dost thou not know, for shame, by the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way. Yeah, I'm not doing that. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wonderful this way comes. Because I recognize the all that is. And I recognize it just not in us, it is us. So every smile that I see the face of God smiling at itself as me. Every note I hear, every drum beat I hear the heartbeat, I hear the rhythm, I hear the melody of the divine. Because it's all God. So if we want to resolve, fix, or heal, whatever, then let's take a moment and step back and say, then, what does it mean for me to be true to myself? Both the individual self and the self that recognizes I am that I am. Because then it changes how I'm going to react, respond, and treat other people. Because I know that no one is just simply another people. They're God. They're the divine. Or as the Bible said, and I'm paraphrasing once again, hey, be careful how you treat people. Because you might actually be entertaining an angel and you don't know it. Well, what if you are entertaining an angel all the time anyway? Not the angel of, that's more tinker anyhow. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Angel. Versus angel being one who carries a message. Do we not all have a message that we deliver in many different ways? The piano message, played by a master messenger. But oftentimes, once again, we back up away from that because, wait a minute, if I'm going to put that on somebody else, then there's a degree of, but I gotta put that on me too. And am I willing to accept that I am a master? Am I willing to accept that I am love made flesh? Am I willing to accept that my very presence is a healing presence? Am I willing to accept the same authority that Yeshua said when the centurion came and was like, hey, look, I understand, people say, and I'm a leader and a commander, and I say, jump, and they jump, and make me a salad, and they make me a salad, and it's not quite in the Bible, but you get the point. And they make me a salad, and the soldiers make me a salad, and right? So if you come to my house and pray for my servant, I am sure that my servant will be well. And Jesus' response was, it's already done by your faith. I don't need to do anything. You've already spoken the words. You've already acknowledged what it is you desire. And by your faith, it is already done. That means in that moment, Jesus was recognizing and acknowledging that the centurion himself has the power of life and death in his tongue, has the ability to tell this mountain to move up and be gone, and the mountain, the obstacle, will be moved and be gone. Otherwise, Jesus would have had to have a 1-800 call Jesus for help. Because everybody would have been like, I gotta, look, my stove won't call 1-800 Jesus for help. Thank you. Sink clog, 1-800 Jesus for help. Flat tire, forget AAA, call 1-800 Jesus for help. Call now. Like, that's what we would be doing. But we don't. Because we acknowledge, he also said, be therefore perfect, just as the divine, your Father, my Abba, is perfect. He didn't say do anything. He said be it. So acknowledging and stepping into this space of, well, what does it mean to be? And if I'm being, then am I also able to acknowledge and recognize the divine everywhere around me all the time? And an amazing person gave me a bag of Skittles today. An inside joke. I ain't even going to say that. And the funny thing is, as soon as I glanced, and I laughed, but as soon as I glanced, my mind immediately said, oh, Skittles, spirit, keeps on inspiring tomorrow, today, love endlessly supplying. Like that immediately, like, you said, what now? And then it's, what's the tagline for Skittles? Taste the rainbow. And then my mind went to the prophecy of the indigenous folks that say that the world will be saved by the rainbow warriors, those who are able to acknowledge and recognize that which is the true self, that which is the divine, that which bridges worlds and moves through the veil of. That's us. That's you. That's we. That's the I that I am. What did Renee say? And winds and winds. It's not quite how she said it, but I got to add Shakespeare to it. Then the chaos and I didn't end up in Oz, though. That's a different kind of storm. And then she said, I, me, myself. So when we recognize that the I that I am is not just I, Raymont, because take off all of our names. It's not who we are. It's what we're called. Even calling ourselves human beings, depending on who you ask a certain biologist, they're going to say, well, yeah, we call it human being for the sake of linguistic convenience, but what you are is X amount of water, X amounts of hydrogen, X amount of nitrogen, you put it all in a bowl, you stir it, add a little bit of salt, and then voila, it's you. Like that's, depending on who you ask, that's how they're going to describe us. So we can describe ourselves in all kinds of words, in all kinds of ways, but it comes down to what degree do we recognize and acknowledge we are divine, we are sacred, we are love. Oh, before I forget, am I supposed to return this to you? I'll wait. So, to thine own self be true. Where are you invited to a new level of love for yourself? to reduce the amount of criticism and increase the amount of praise for yourself. To self-care more. To let your no be no, because some of y'all, I ain't gonna say no names, some of y'all in this room don't know when to tell somebody no. You take on so much, and you take on so much, and you take on so much, and you take it on, 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 as though you are Atlas, and it is your responsibility to bear the weight of the family, or bear the weight of the world, or bear the weight of the church, or bear the weight of something or someone. Which is why many of us are codependent and people pleasers and whatnot, because we don't want to say no to anything. We don't want to disappoint people. But in not disappointing them, we are disappointing ourselves. Because there are things we want to do. And when we do that, there's no capacity for us. And we've all heard the analogy. During the flight, should the cabin lessen in air pressure, do not call 1-800-JESUS-HELP. The face mask will drop. I mean, you can do that too, but the face mask will drop. Be sure to put it on your flight attendant. No, put it on your own face first. Even though your temptation will be to take care of those around you, if you pass out, you can't help anybody. How many of us are passing out, burning the candle at both ends with whatever it is? And granted, there are some things that it's our responsibility. Yeah, do that. Do that. But there are certain things we know that, this really, let your no be no, as self-care, as a form of love. Even Jesus had his, y'all better leave me alone moments, right? Look, I'm going over there to meditate and pray. Y'all leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm going down beneath the boat. Leave me alone. If these people don't quit calling me for every storm. Okay, look, I've taught you this before. Storm proof. You want to try it? Okay, do it. What are you picking out your phone? I know you didn't just dial 1-800-JESUS-HELP. Too often we do that kind of thing, though, because we don't want to take on the power. Right? We don't want to take on the responsibility. I'm going to put Linda on the spot for a second. I don't want to phrase this. Okay, Linda said, today was first day serving as prayer chaplain. And a lot of folks, if asked, would say, because it's a lot of responsibility. As Linda said, and I don't know if you caught it, in order for me to do what I am doing up here right now, there have been mentors, there have been teachers, there have been people on whose shoulders I am standing, including all of the prayer and support that has brought me to this place now. It's not just Linda. It's every person who poured into, which means Renee poured into. Then that means who poured into Renee, and who poured into them, and who poured into them, and who poured into Liz, because Liz poured into, and who. It takes a village. But standing somewhere, playing an instrument, speaking, it's responsibility. I have your undivided attention for the most part. Right? There's a lot of stuff. And a lot of us don't want that. We don't want to be looked at. We don't want to be seen. We like being invisible. The divine doesn't do anything in expressing the invisible. When's the last time you picked an invisible rose? When's the last time you saw a peacock with invisible feathers? Is that a peacock or a pigeon? Because I don't see any feathers. Shouldn't there be feathers? Like, when was the last time you saw an invisible rainbow? Like, wow, Mahala, look. What you looking at? The rainbow. Ray, 1-800. Right? Like, Spirit shows up and shows out. So why don't we? To thine own self be true means step in fully as the divine being you are. Love yourself and live as that. Because I promise you, as we do, the world will have no choice but to change. And all of those things that we identify as the muck and the yuck, whatever it may be, will slowly vanish. Because as this consciousness grows that says we must tend to the earth, we include our indigenous siblings, for they knew how to take care of the earth long before we were. We include them in the conversation. Matter of fact, we let them lead the conversation. Women, we allow them. No, we don't allow, because we make space for the voice of the divine feminine as these women to speak. Patriarchy, hush up now. This consciousness means we make room for all of that. Instead of, we no longer play small. Breathe. As we enter into this space of the infinite knowing, remembering and reflecting on the realization that none of us are breathing ourselves. We are able to eat and laugh and drive and converse and do all manner of things, and our bodies are intelligent enough to know how to take care of respiration. The body knows how to receive and give in order to breathe. It knows how much to take in and when to surrender. But ultimately, it is not our body's intelligence. It is the intelligence of Source, showing up in, through, and as this body. Every cell, every tendon, every muscle fiber, every quantum particle and wave. And so in this moment, we set the intention. I am divinely guided by the intelligence of the all that I am. In this thing called my spiritual journey, I no longer need to have a destination. Enlightenment isn't a destination. My intention is to enjoy the journey, to simply experience all that there is. Love, peace, beauty, all within this breath. As we continue to breathe, to thine own self, spirit expressing life forever, be true. To thine own self, spirit expressing love forever, be true. Every breath is our amen. Every word we speak, every smile, every action is the activity of the divine, therefore it is prayer. We are always praying. Be mindful. Be intentional with what you are saying and doing. So we breathe. And so it is. And so we breathe. We breathe in all that is as life. Life living itself in, through, and as us. And as Don Quixote de la Mancha sang the impossible dream, we take it on. Whatever others say is impossible. Peace on earth, impossible. We say, just wait and see. What others say about war and disease, we say, just wait and see. Because we embody the divine, breath by breath, moment by moment, thought by thought. We are the ones we have been waiting for. So we breathe. And we show up. And so it is.